Hi, thanks for coming back. It's Matt here again with mywebbro.com, and today I want to share with you a brief history on the very first internet search engine called Archie. So 10 years before Google launched their search engine, it was 1987, and a project was forming in Montreal, Canada that was about to change the world. It was 1987 at McGill University in beautiful Montreal, Canada. Peter Deutsch, the systems manager for the school, was asked to connect the School of Computer Science to the internet. The original implementation was launched in 1990 by Alan Emtage, who's a student at this point, and Bill Heelan, who studied at Concordia University in Montreal, who was working at the school during the early 1990s. Now, the earliest versions of Archie, written by Alan, simply contacted a list of FTP archives on a regular basis. They contacted them each about once a month so that they wouldn't waste much of their resources on remote servers. And then they requested a listing. Then those listings were stored in local files and were searched using the Unix grep command. Alan called the tool Archie because file naming conventions at the time required the word archives be shortened to 6 characters. So they dropped the V and the S, and there's the name Archie. It's kind of interesting to note that Alan had no foresight on the idea that Archie would be associated with the Archie comics, which were very popular in the 90s, and Alan was even quoted as saying that he despised the comics. Alan is credited with creating the tool, while Peter and Bill wrote the script allowing people to log in and search collected information using the Telnet protocol at the host archie.mcgill.ca. So, right, this tool doesn't do anyone any good until it's available through the internet. So later that year, students and faculty worked together to develop a more efficient front and back end, and the system spread from a local tool to a network-wide resource and eventually into a popular service that was available from multiple sites around the internet. The collected data would be exchanged between the neighboring Archie servers. These servers could be accessed in multiple ways, using a local client like Archie or Xarchie, telnetting into the server directly, or sending queries by email, and then later via the World Wide Web interface. So Wikipedia states that at the zenith of its fame, the Archie search engine accounted for 50% of Montreal internet traffic. I'd like to say thank you to the University of Warsaw's Interdisciplinary Center for Mathematical and Computational Modeling in Poland for continuing to host this tool for history and for education. So here we are, we're looking at the Archie query form, and it looks very familiar, doesn't it? Here you would just do a search for files in an FTP server. What you're not doing yet is searching for content on web pages. That hasn't been developed yet, and it will take a few years for the World Wide Web, the WWW, to take over and people to start housing their websites on that network. So once people start hosting websites on the WWW network, then there will be something to search for. And here you can just see the files. And so it says there's 22 hits found when I searched McGill. And the only reason I just searched McGill because I figured there would be something in there. That's the only reason. So, and you can see it's not even a link. What it is it's just a directory. This is just a directory at this point. But it is the very first internet search directory, nonetheless. So there's also the advanced query, which had additional parameters. Can change what and or do, limit the results to a directory path, etc. So that's it. That's Archie. So as word of mouth about Archie spread, it started attracting the attention of computer scientists in America. Archie had so much popularity in the US that the University of Nevada System Computing Services Group developed Veronica. Veronica served the same purpose as Archie, but it worked on plain text files. Veronica was developed into a tool called Jughead, and then those two technologies were combined to create what was called Gopher. Which brings us to Mark McCahill. He was a student at the University of Minnesota who effectively used a hypertext paradigm to create Gopher, which also searched for plain text references in FTP files. In closing here, I would say every day that goes by, right, we become more and more accustomed to the luxuries that the internet affords us in regards to the wealth of information that's available. We've been spoiled, I'd say. It's so easy now to share information that we're probably all guilty of oversharing. I wonder if in the future we'll look back at these first years when the internet was being developed and we'll marvel at these pioneers for their contributions. And I can say with absolute certainty that nobody in 1990 could have imagined how our society would grow to depend on the internet like we do today. So, thank you so much for coming back. It's been a lot of fun looking at the very first internet search engine. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.